I've never been more proud to be part of this next family gathering.
My abuela's house this Sunday?
No. Although, yes, tell your abuela I will be there this Sunday. I'm looking forward to it. But I'm talking about the Proud Family.
The Proud Family, Louder and Prouder, follows the adventures and misadventures of newly 14-year-old Penny Proud and her Proud family as they navigate modern life with hilarity and heart.
Now we're so excited to welcome the Proud Family, Louder and Prouder executive producers, Bruce W. Smith and Ralph Farquhar. Thank you both so much for being here.
Thanks for having us. It's a pleasure.
Yep, glad to be here.
This is very surreal for us right now.
Yeah, we both are fans of the Proud Family. It was actually, not only did I watch it when it first came out, but when we got Disney Plus, it was actually one of the first series I binge watched. So
we're just as excited to bring it back. Ralph and I both knew that our show had unfinished business.
We've been trying to get back for the past 15 years.
Well, now's the right time, honestly.
So what can both returning and new viewers expect?
It will definitely be louder. I think the main thing to expect is a continuation of what we did before. The Proud Family is an unapologetically Black TV show. You know, that's what it is. You're going to see real brothers and real sisters on this show. We got some new characters coming. You know, we got a slightly new look. We got a slightly new theme song. So I think it's going to be refreshing and exciting for our old audience and a revelation to the new generation.
We always wanted to make sure that we displayed a spectrum of the Black experience, which is something that you just didn't get in the early 2000s, you know, especially in animation. And so that's when I just sort of, you know, collaborated with Ralph and said, listen, this is what I want to do. I mean, this is an African-American animated sitcom, and bringing those characters in, they're people that we all grew up with and stories that we all know.
And it was so authentic and specific, and that's why so many people were able to relate to it, because you don't see that type of authenticity in storytelling, especially in animation. Where do we find Penny and the family at the start of the new series?
We played her as a tween. You know, I see there's a lot of discussion. How old is Penny? Well, we played her like 12, 13-ish back then. So now she's 14 for sure. At this point, they're still in junior high, but they're like ninth grade. So they're like the seniors of Willie T. Ribb's middle school now, right? Yeah. So they got it going on. And there's going to be some new kids that move into the neighborhood. And that's when the drama and comedy begins.
And also, you know, it's a lot of your returning characters. I mean, it's, you know, Oscar at his most Oscarly.
Oh my gosh, you know? I am here for this. You have no idea.
Trudy has expanded her business. Brother Bobby is still there. And obviously Sugar Mama, you know.
Oh
Sugar
my gosh, yes.
The real kind of matriarch of the fold. She gets to do and say whatever she wants.
Why's my grandbaby dressed like Darth Vader?
We send her on some really wonderful adventures where we discover a whole lot about why she is, how she is.
Who she is. How did she become Sugar Mama?
How she become Sugar Mama.
Well, I was actually going to ask about this later, but since you're already bringing up characters, can you tell us a little bit of insight about some of the new characters that we would see on the Proud Family, Louder and Prouder?
There's a couple new characters and characters that we kind of upgraded and really got into, starting with Michael, who's being voiced by E.J. Johnson. Then we brought in Billy Porter and Zachary Quinto as two new parents that move into the neighborhood with their family, which will consist of Maya and KG.
A Boogie plays KG, and Kiki Palmer plays Maya Leibowitz Jenkins.
We've introduced multiple LGBTQ plus characters, if you will. And so that's like a big thing we're going into in a more honest way. We've brought in these new characters as, you know, two dads raising their kids. And so it's bringing that reality, which I would say 20 years ago, we weren't encouraged to talk about. Now we have that freedom.
Did you realize even back then that you were bringing about such a groundbreaking show, and now you're doing it again?
We felt that each time we put stuff on the page, each time we put stuff on screen, we both would look at each other and say, well, I've never seen this before. You know, we've never seen characters have these discussions before. I've never seen this type of design to these characters. So we knew along the way, as we were in the journey, in the process of making this, that we knew that it was something fun and unique and special. Now, what's interesting is that, you know, we were producing for television. So you kind of, you know, you're producing it in a silo. It's not like a movie where you can go into, you know, to any theater and sneak and sort of see how people are reacting, right? Our reactions would be on the street. You know, Ralph.
That's true, back then especially.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, Proud Family. Like if you wearing a Proud Family t-shirt, you wearing a crew t-shirt or whatever, like, what is it? Where'd you get that from? You know, and then that would start the conversation and such, right? But I think one of our producers kind of laid it out where he said he got pulled over by a policeman and pulled out his driver's license, asked him what he did. He said, I work on a Proud Family, and he let him go. Proud Family, man, that's my favorite show. Let me. So the Proud Family can get a black man out of a traffic ticket, then you know you're doing something special, I guess, right?
That's how you knew back then, when a show was doing well.
You're working on something that is reaching out.
So what do you hope audiences take away from the Proud Family Louder and Prouder?
I think it's amazing when kids can see themselves represented, right? The biggest takeaway from a show like this is that, we see you, we want to tell your story. So we hope that you find your story in this, you find your characters in this. And that's one takeaway that we think is essential and key to why we make this show.
We're really leaning into those stories that aren't typically told in the animation form, and it's not about an issue each week, but we don't run away from the fact of whether it's sexism, racism, issues of gender identity, along with the everyday things of growing up, coming of age, because that's what we all had to deal with growing up. We didn't grow up in that world where everything was perfect. We all grew up in a world where we had challenges. And so we're just dealing with those challenges in a fun, entertaining way.
Thank you both so much. This is an honor talking to both of you about the series, about the Proud Family, about the Proud Family Louder and Prouder, and just everything that you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Absolutely.
paving
Thanks
the
for having
way.
us again.
Hey, thanks. Yes, love it.